Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Abby, and I am your host. With me, as always, are Logan and Jordan. Logan, I know that you've been out running around, so what did you do in Flesh and Blood this week?
Is this really 38?
It
It's
is, yeah.
Jesus
unbelievable.
fuck.
That number
Okay.
actually took me back to. I don't usually
Yeah.
get like milestone.
I thought it was like 35. But,
we did
apparently I missed
that
a few.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I've literally been on every single instance of this show, and I still don't remember what show we're on. Great.
Have you and I been on every single one? Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Abby's just missed a couple.
Abby's
of
missed a couple,
pods.
but yes. Yeah. And I think one actual like base recording, and then one emergency pod. I think is what Abby's missed.
Gotcha.
But the Flesh and Blood this week. I played Armory on Thursday, which was bad. I played Kasai and Blitz, trying to get prepared for skirmish this weekend, and I hated it. Just didn't feel good. I usually love Kasai. It's my Blitz deck that I go to, and I enjoy playing it most of the time. But like for whatever reason, just like wasn't feeling it. So I spent Saturday morning, quite literally, I built 10 Blitz decks on TTS, goldfishing them. The first 8 I fucking hated and just yeeted immediately.
Okay.
Then I built a Dromai build that looked pretty cool, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't have time to learn this. I'm not doing this. So I'm like, what the fuck else can I do? And I'm like, Ira? And so I didn't even look at a FabDB list or anything. I just built Ira. Just out of my head, what the fuck looks great? Hey, Double Strike looks really cool in this deck. Hey, we get Shukos. And then went 4-1 in skirmish and finished in third. So we did that. That felt pretty good. And then most people that were in the skirmish stuck around for a Armory draft of Uprising, and it was a pretty easy 4-0 for me. So won the Armory and took third in the skirmish. So, and then it felt great. Yesterday was great. Did a lot of work, got a lot of work in, and I kind of understand a little bit more about what's going on in Blitz right now. Icelander feels like a fucking menace when it's played right. It just isn't. There's just the ways to combat it are mostly built into blues, and I had in playing Ira, I had a ton of blues, so I felt like I was going to be in a good spot, which is one of the reasons I decided to pilot Ira. I was playing 16 blues, maybe it was 14, like it was about half the deck. And felt like I'd have a good shot with 4 Null Rune to make sure that I wasn't going to die. And then my opponent on turn 1 Frost-X me on the play.
Oh.
And then turn 2 Frost-X me. Cool. And then played a channel Lake Frigid out of Arsenal on my turn 2. Which
is it good against you? If so, why?
It might be because things cost resources. And that channel stuck around for 3 turns. So I got to attack with a weapon twice in a turn, exactly once, and was taking anywhere between 4 and 12 from frostbites in a turn, which in a 20 life format, not good. So just got fucking rolled. But all the other matchups were pretty interesting. I did, and this is relevant to our interest later, play against a Talishar Dash.
A little Wombat Dash, huh?
Little Wombat Dash. And that was very close. I had to take their turn 1 was a giant attack for a zipper hit for 10. And I'm like, that's real. And then they played a second Teklo Pounder behind it because they started with Pound Town in play. I'm like, okay, this is not good for me. Was able to do some damage. They do a lot of blocking. I did block out their 10, and then they decided to. Then they came in for 19 the next turn to put me to 1. But I was able to present lethal the next turn, and they did not play around Razor Reflex. So I think people forgot that there are combat tricks in this game.
Yep.
So I was able to steal 1. But the Guardian matchups felt fine. The Dromai matchup it felt good until turn 2 when my opponent destroyed my my Mask of Momentum with their Tumultai. And I went, huh. This matchup suddenly got much harder. Fuck.
Yeah.
So that was probably the hardest matchup that I won on the day. The Dash matchup would be a close second, but the Dromai one had me very concerned because as soon as you lose Mask into Dragons, it's like the thing that makes my deck good into Dragons no longer exists.
Yeah, not having just the free draw card is
Big ol' wince. It's like, okay, that's bad. But that's what I did. So it was a pretty packed week. Trying to get Dagan ready for his trip to France. None of us other Iowans are making the trip, so he's kind of on his own. And hope our little boy doesn't get lost in the catacombs of France or in Paris. So he might. It's very possible. Otherwise, he'll just get drunk on Nutella and pass out on the streets or pass out in front of Charles de Gaulle Airport. So, Jordan, what were you up to?
I had a light flesh and blood week, I guess, but in terms of what I did, but it was fun all the same. I did a little bit of played one game, I think, this week, on Monday or Tuesday with a friend of the show, Mitch. We just wanted to play. We played a game. I played Viscerai. He played Dromai. I lost. It was a close game, but when I play Dromai, I've been doing this thing where I try to get very greedy about attacking their like rare and up dragons, and that's just foolish. But I like seeing where the line is. He had one of the dragon that when it attacks, like looks at your hand and like banishes a card from it or whatever. Which one is that? It's like the one that like, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a red, you get to look at your opponent's hand and like banish a card from it.
That must be it's not Dracona Optimi. It's not Traumatide, it's the other one.
Yeah. So he got the Ripple
Dominia.
Popper Dominia.
Dominia or whatever.
Dominiowski.
Yeah, she's Polish.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yes, it is.
Lover of sausage, purveyor of fine beers. Got it.
Yeah. Amateur pierogi expert. Yeah.
There's no such thing as an amateur pierogi expert, sir. A pierogi is a blessing.
Terms, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But no, so like got to take a popper out of it a couple of times, and that was just like me being greedy when I should have just like attacked it for 4 at one point or something and killed it. So kind of been learning a lot about that. I truthfully haven't cared too much about Classic Constructed, if only because like there wasn't a tournament that mattered for me for a while, and now there is, which is still fine because like the PT will inevitably change the things I care about
potentially.
So, yeah, it has it'll give a clearer picture of where to start, and I think for like the way that I view my time, it'll be worth it, like cost versus return to just wait for the PT, which we'll talk about. And I forgot to add to the thing somebody just did. Thank you.
I literally don't read the show notes anymore. Well, I didn't today because I kind of walked in the door and immediately had to start recording. So
right. What else did I do? Consumed a lot of the Calling Top 8 Singapore Top 8.
Flake and Armada did a great job.
They're insane. They're goats. They're best in class. I tried to do it live, which was foolish. I originally told Flake that I would moderate the like 983 media chat for it, but 2:00 rolls around and the last round of Swiss had not started, and I was like, I'm just gonna go lay in bed. This is where I got foolish. I'm gonna lay in bed and try to watch this.
That's how it works.
And then I wake up at 9 a.m. and was like, oh, 983 Media uploaded a video of the Calling Singapore Top 8.
Sure did.
It didn't get started until 4 a.m. And it went until 7:20 a.m. So that was the first thing I did is I watched that. That was very fun.
It's like Flake was eating chili for breakfast at that point. Which was a lot.
There was a really funny bit where right before the final started, DM Armada's like, "Hey, the players are going to take a break. I'm going to take a break." It had been 2 hours straight for these guys, and then Flake goes, "Actually, they're shuffling up on camera right now." And DM Armada's face had that like he's trying to hold it.
If they just lost it.
Yeah, like if you've been in the business of like being on camera for anything, no matter how small, like you hold it, but you can see the pain once you know what you're looking for. And
Cookus is a professional, so but
he's
still,
like, I have to pee, but I will smile.
Sounds great.
So that was fun. I listened to you on Instant Speed.
Oh,
that was a good episode. You defended the cause of Blitz very well. You made some jokes that went underappreciated by the group.
I made a clutch Fort Minor joke, and so I need to say this as like now because it's important.
Our people will laugh. So
well, people would laugh. So I made this joke about Fort Minor, the song. Remember the name? With the bases out the percentages of living a life, so people remember you. People who know will know. If you know, you know, right? And so Zach Bunn had made a fucking horrible tweet, and he copped to it too, but saying that Blitz was 80% luck, 20% skill. So I leaned into it with a Fort Minor joke, thinking I'm gonna get some out of this. Got nothing.
Yeah, you said like 20% power of will, and
Yeah,
it was genuinely the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Fucking run. And
oh my god,
nothing.
It was so brutal.
Got dead nothing. And so the funniest part of the story is, so on Friday night, I'm sitting at home, sitting in front of my television, enjoying some time, and my phone rings, and it's Jordan Kennedy. Now, there are exactly like 7 people on this planet that if the phone rings and it's their name, I will pick it up regardless. No matter what I'm doing, no matter the time of day, I will always pick it up. And Jordan Kennedy is on that list. And so I answer the phone, and Jordan's like, I just needed to call you and tell you I paused the Instant Speed podcast because I had to call you and tell you that Fort fucking Minor joke slapped, and it is not a you problem, it's an audience problem. And I'm like,
oh god,
great.
I laughed out loud. Like, I don't emote
because it was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, I don't often emote aloud when I consume like any type of media, right? But like, I literally laughed out loud when I heard, Flake goes, yeah, okay, 80% luck, 20% skill, and you literally said like 14% power,
concentrated power of will. It was perfect.
Listen, and anyone that knows me or the show knows that I would tell Logan if I thought it was bad. Logan and I have been friends for a goddamn near decade.
Over a decade.
I could just tell Logan that was bad. You should throw it away.
Yep.
And later I did. I think he said,
yeah, you did. There was a shade joke because I needed to land one with this fucking crew of millennial based non-understanding dites that I needed to kind of get it one over on, and they chuckled. They laughed at that one. I'm like, that is a D+ joke at best.
I mean, yeah, I give it an F-,
which is not correct. I mean, when compared to the Fort Minor joke, it's 100% an F-.
Yeah,
but in the grand scheme, it's like a D+. No, it's a D+. In a vacuum, it's a D+. But it's still one of those where it's just like, what a throwaway line to get a fucking chuckle. Like, come on,
right,
man.
right. Like, that was clearly what you were doing. So you need it back in the game. Like the public persona in us needs the laugh, and I get that thing of like, I didn't get it, so I've got to lower myself to get it.
The other part, and I'll talk more to this later, was how restrained that I had to be on that show. I did
because it's just a panel with
it's a panel. I understand that I have a propensity to let loose with both barrels on occasion when I'm not restrained, which there is currently a video entry to our contest that references the fact that I cannot be controlled. And that's what happened is I'm like, okay, I have to be controlled here. Like, I cannot just do what I normally do and just go blasting. 1, I'll say fuck. 2, it'll alienate somebody. And I'm not about that. That's not how I live.
You know, it's people we don't like know very well.
Yeah,
like, we know of, like, and probably know of, like, you or us or whatever. But like, it's different than like people you're established with, where you can just like say,
right,
hey, that's stupid, or hey, I disagree. You like, you're trying to be polite and like,
yeah, I do that. Different. I do that. Like I do. Signal changing is not quite it, but I do tend to change my tone a little bit when I'm on other people's shows, depending on what their show is like. So on Flake's show, I don't say fuck, I don't drink while I'm recording, and I try to be more courteous and more conscientious because that's what he's gunning for with his, because this is his livelihood, right? And for us, this is fun. So I say fuck, and I fire with both barrels, and I kind of don't give a shit. And then if people need to slap me down, that's fine. I totally accept it. But from that perspective, so like I had to be a little more restrained, and at that point in time, it's like I just need to kind of get back into the game a little bit, maybe get a chuckle here or there. I thought that my arguments that I made on that show are fairly cogent, but
oh no, I thought so. For people that didn't listen to it first, you should. It is actually a very good discussion. The people that I do disagree with or that I think are wrong, like, put together coherent arguments, and like, they're not dumb, right? Like, they're very smart people that like I just happen to disagree with. One of the like presuppositions of everyone's argument, of everybody's, I think, was Blitz is a bad format that isn't fun to play or watch, and then started from there with building like, what does that look like in the World Championship? And I wanted to like attack, like, my entire time I'm listening to this, I'm yelling at my radio, like attacking that presupposition that like it's not, though. We like the show briefly talked about how most people play Blitz, or Blitz is the most played thing, and people love it. and like that was, I think, glanced over a lot in the like, well, what's his, do we really want this to be determined at any point in the World Championship? It's like, people do, yes, absolutely. Yes. We don't need to guess about that part. Like there was a lot of like, yeah, I guess the presupposition was bad in that like people started from the place the blitz is bad, which the data just not bore out. And so it was interesting. It was very interesting to listen to.
I feel like we use the Madden truck stick on Abby right now because she has not said anything about what she did in Flesh and Blood this week. We just moved on to like probably bullet number 3 on the show notes. So Abby, what did you do in Flesh and Blood this week? Because I feel really guilty all of a sudden.
It's fine. You just go ahead and talk about it. No. Okay. So
no, because we'll get canceled. We fucking already got an email.
You were.
Oh my God.
Listen, I won't take you if you're talking about Flesh and Blood stuff. You can go on and on and on. I was also on somebody else's podcast this week. I was on the Fresh and Buds podcast with Tommy Fresh.
Thomas Von Freshness, yes.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Fresh Lord himself, yeah.
He is great. I love that man.
Yes, it was very fun. And then I played some games with my brother this weekend. I am trying to convince my sister-in-law to play, and she is not having it. But I'm still gonna keep trying.
I'm curious what the pushback there is.
Your brother is friend of Caleb, right? Because Caleb's been doxed on this show like 9 times by Jordan. So I think we're just comfortable with that now. Okay, cool.
Yes,
he friend of Jason Bourne, Caleb. Yeah.
He also listens to the show. So
shouts out,
brother of mine. I need you to play this for Amanda and let her know that I am still gonna try to convince her to play.
You know what I love?
I was gonna call
She's a pseudo pariah in the community now too.
Right.
You know what I love is that of all of the people that have not been doxxed, the brother-in-law has not been doxxed.
Not once.
Yeah.
We've doxxed now Amanda on Abby's
but
behalf.
listen,
Caleb.
But listen, Amanda's not going to play, so it's not a secret. She's not in the community at all.
The purpose of doxing is not because they do or don't play a game; it's because of their identity protection. Like, my name is Jordan Kennedy. It is very obvious on the internet. Someone could very well go back to Amanda and Caleb if they wanted to.
It's not too hard to trace, especially knowing that Jordan's called you Davis on this show at least twice.
Oh, Christ, you're right.
And so it's making it real fucking easy all of a sudden. So this is really bad.
Well,
but
luckily our community is great, and they would never creepily dox anybody. I've not received any like doll parts or human remains in the mail yet, so I think that we're fine.
I have.
Oh, really? What was it? Was it a nose? Because I really wanted a nose. I always thought that a nose would be a cool thing to receive.
Yeah.
So like on the nose, or got it on the nose, or something like that.
Oh my God, Abby!
Oh
what,
shit!
What is
Amanda's She's using the fucking button.
Yeah, she's using the button. The button does not show up on the video, by the way. So she's gonna have the power to do it. Abby, let me go back to your thing about getting Amanda to play. Was it just like hey, this game isn't interesting to me, or is it like the culture in general, or like not her speed? I'm mostly curious as to like what barriers communities will have in onboarding new players.
She does not want to learn a new game. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the game.
Gotcha.
So,
it wasn't like she looked at the cards and was like, absolutely not. It was just like, I'm not about learning a game.
I don't know if she's ever looked at them. I would assume so, but I have no idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you guys didn't buy a box to crack and like get her in that way.
I wanted to, but she said no.
I also do need to mention that when my phone rang with Jordan Kennedy's name at 10:30 p.m. on Friday night, I honestly answered the phone with, okay, what's the bet? Not hello, not how are you, but okay, what's the bet?
Yep.
Because I thought 100% was a wager.
Yep. That's not a bad bet either. That'd have been a safe bet. If you could set up the prop very quickly in the room with your friends.
Very quickly in the room, yeah.
I would have lost a bet with the winner of the calling in Singapore if we had bet on it. Did not see that coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of things about this that I have found out in my very limited time in able to research Flesh and Blood stuff today due to fantasy football drafts and just day drinking in general was that this particular person had also won a Pro Quest in Taiwan with Talishar Dash in the Starvo meta. So we are dealing with one might call an expert in how to make this work. But Talishar Dash has won a calling. My cold foil Talishar is now more expensive. That's really what I know.
That's good. But hey, we'll take those.
Right.
I like this top 8 though.
Yes.
There's 5 heroes in it. That's good.
A lot of Briar though.
Yeah, 4 Briars, right? Abby, do you want to do the rundown?
Yeah, so it's 4 Briar, and then an Icelander, a Viscerai, a Dash, and a Phi.
So Jordan, just taking that at face value, that rundown, what would you consider to be the favorite out of that field?
You mean like the man? So I guess Viscerai, or I'm sorry, not Viscerai, Icelander or Briar.
My answer is Icelander. Yeah. Because those are a bunch of aggro decks in Icelander, and Icelander's main stated point in anything is to slow things down and to play as more of a Death and Taxes type of permission deck, and that was confusing to me.
Did you watch that match by chance?
I did.
It was not close.
It was not close.
Channel Mount Heroic turns. So to give some context, Alan had the Briar player had 3 Channel Mount Heroic or 2 Channel Mount Heroics in a row, and one of them stuck around for a little bit longer.
2 turns.
Yeah. Yep. So Icelander definitely was behind it because of how efficient Channel Mount Heroic is, but still, like, it was a run over.
So as an aside, for a question that is not a listener question but a host question, which we don't do very often.
No, we don't.
What would you say is the scariest card in Flesh and Blood right now? The card where it hits the field and you just go, what the fuck? How am I getting around
you mean
this?
Like card, not just like Rosetta Thorn?
Yeah, card.
Oh, yeah, CMH is up there. Channel Mount Heroic. Yeah, Channel Mount Heroic, probably. It's very efficient.
Abby, do you have an answer?
Maximum velocity?
Now.
No, I don't.
So for me, it's a toss-up, really. CMH is just, you see it and you're just like, oh, fuck me. The other one is Art of War, where it's just like, oh, please don't draw gas. Please don't draw gas. Did you draw? God damn it.
Yeah.
And then you just lose on the spot. There are some turns. So I was playing against in Flake's event, right? In round 6, I'm 3-2. Playing against somebody playing Viscerai, they only have webcam set up and I only have TTS set up. So we decided that I'm just going to screen share my TTS. And then I realized that I'm playing face up to this person. They literally can see my hand the entire time. And they're playing Viscerai and I'm playing Phi. And I'm just like, well, that's going to be awkward. It wasn't close. I was at 17 when they died. It just didn't matter.
Oh, wow.
You could see my hand and know what I was doing, and it just didn't matter at all.
Oh, wow.
And it was because of Art of War. They just were like, yep, that happens. And so there's a point where like Art of War into a card that was relevant and another Art of War. So I was able to arsenal the Art of War rather than double Art of War, and then have 2 turns where they're just in awkward positions for blocking, with 4 breakpoints, and they're just like, I don't even know what the fuck to do.
So I guess if you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said of Art of War.
Sure.
I think, with Stubby still around. But
Stubby's is.
Yeah, I guess that card still is just spooky.
Yeah, and then there's certain things that like you start remembering, like because Plunder Run's legal in Blitz, right? And so I played Plunder Run Naira. Turns out, take the tempo with Plunder Run, not fucking fair. This is 8, and it gives me a 5-card hand. Would you like to do anything about that? Give me your hand or not. And it's just like, bad. Like, yeah, your options are limited, and it's not good. And then they block 8, and then you razor it, and then they just like throw their hands up and cry. It's just like, I get it. That's 11. Draw a card. Go again now. Sorry for your life. I'll draw 2 actually, because usually there's a mass trigger on it. But
unlucky.
Yeah, draw 3 too because banish the top card. Yeah, like a lot of it is it's all bad. There just isn't a lot to do with it. So yeah, it's interesting that how these cards can be warping, right? Like Channel Mount Heroic warps so many things around it. Art of War warps so many things around it, and it's just as soon as somebody plays one on offense, you're just like, oh fuck me, please no, please no, please no. Am I gonna die right now? Kind of thing.
This turn is over. Like I might lose the game now. Yeah.
Right. This might be the point I lose the game. So I think that those are probably the two I'd put in contention for the scariest card personally.
Yeah, I think so. Especially still Art of War. Now that you like describe all of the scenarios too, even in a post W world. What like do you think a Pro Tour player looking at this calling Singapore list thinks? Do things change?
No.
Or is this what we thought?
So I think, and I know I'll get shit for this, and that's fine. Remember back in the Magic days when you'd have a Grand Prix before a Pro Tour?
Yep.
That was the same format as the Pro Tour. And then that the Grand Prix results were never indicative of the Pro Tour. Because people just were not going to play what they were going to play in the event that meant more.
You kept tech quiet.
Yeah. I think we're seeing that. I don't think that Dash is the meta. I don't think Briar is even really the meta, although it's probably 50-50 in most of the meta. I think we're going to see a lot of different things in the Pro Tour. It's not going to be a bunch of Briar. It's not going to be a bunch of Viscerai. I think that there will be a pretty diverse meta game, probably 6 or 7 different decks. The Kano stands will still Kano, because why wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you? Because even in an Icelander matchup, it's just who blinks first. Fuck them. Let them. They want to commit resources on a turn to like playing something in their arsenal. Frostbite trigger on the stack, let's go. They might just 40 you. You don't know. So personally, I feel like this I don't want to call it a throwaway event, because I don't want to minimize the accomplishment of somebody winning with Talishar Dash. That is incredible in a field regardless. But it was a smaller calling.
Yep, 244 players.
Yep. It was a smaller calling, and the blankets behind Abby are really fucking with me. There's a cat going ham in there, and it's just nuts. It looks like something out of Little Shop of Horrors, and I don't know what to do with it.
She's exploring.
Yeah, sure is. Audrey 2 is back there, ready to fucking end the world. And then, but like with this event, I just don't think there's a lot to read into it. I honestly don't. I think Briar being there makes sense. I think the Phi deck that was there is legal. I'm gonna call it 80. I'm gonna say it's legal.
We're not gonna talk about this deck list because it's garbage. But
I don't want to insult the deck list. I don't want to insult it. It did well. It was probably piloted well. It's Kadachi. It's Kadachi Phi. It's playing very limited Draconics. It's why aren't you Katsu.deck? I just don't really understand what's going on with it. But it did well in the tournament. I guess that matters. I mean, that does matter. Not guessing. That does matter. But it's just hard for me to understand, the thought process into it, unless it was a kind of a throwaway list that just, you ran great and played well into good matchups, and that's about it. I mean, they finished in a 5th through 8th, so they lost in the quarters. But sweet, I mean, just I look at it and I'm just like, I would not probably take this as my choice. Unless it was like, okay, I want to play the hero I want to play, but I don't want to play the optimized version because I don't want to tell anybody what the optimized version is. That's what it feels like. And then like you do something like, and you do well like this with a non-optimized version, and just go, well, I might have just thrown a bunch of people off. That probably feels good. But again, I do not want to be reductionist. Like taking anything and finishing in the top 8 of a calling is an accomplishment. I've never done it. Not taking anything away from anybody. So good job, and an interesting list, although I don't see a whole lot I agree with, but I'm not here to yuck your yum, buddy.
Yeah, like, you did better than I did, I guess, right?
Good job playing with the toothpicks. You swung some toothpicks a bunch, and that matters.
That's right. We also got the artist and special guest list for the Pro Tour. Pro Tour is next weekend.
Next weekend. Yeah.
Yes. So the LSS put out a list of who's going to be there. So we have Federico Mazzetti,
Oh,
who did
that's my dude.
Chain, Lexi,
Library of
Galaxy
Solana
Black,
is his best
Burn
five
away,
piece.
right?
Did burn away.
Burn Away. The library is not listed on here.
It's the first card that's listed. The Great Library of Solana.
Where?
Oh my god.
Federico Mazzetti is perhaps best known
it's
for the
not
Great
with the rest
Library
of
of
it.
Solana.
Okay, I was looking at
Oh,
literally all of the other.
First sentence.
Okay, you can do the next. Go ahead.
Okay. Othon Nicolaitis is Briar, Warden of Thorns. He created cards like Lumina Ascension, Necria, Yindarai. So he's father of some of the dragons. It's pretty sweet. And Blood on Her
Necria is a
Hands.
sweet one. Oh.
Yeah, Blood on Her Hands. This may be one of the cards you need to get signed by Dagon.
I didn't send any with him. He leaves tomorrow real early. I'm gonna have to ping him and be like, "Hey, fuck you." Gonna have to go in and probably send him a message and say, "Hey, Dagon, I need you to acquire some shit and get it signed by this person. If they have artist proof, foil artist proofs of Blood on Her Hands, I'm gonna need those. Not like one.
Yeah.
I need all of them, and then
I
you
might
just tell me what that costs.
Need him to buy me a library while he's out there because that's a Fable I still need and get it signed. I know he's
Sure.
playing the Pro Tour and working, but like, get in line, bud. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he owes us, but
Ellie owes me anything. But Abby, do you want to trade these or do you want to? Yeah, as long as we're gonna get all the cards in.
I don't know because I do not have the show notes pulled up, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Jordan, okay. Jordan, we can just alternate. The next one is Nicholas Bross. I
think it's Bross.
Bross?
Brosse.
I apologize to anybody if you listen and I mispronounce your name. So he is an artist in his own right, and he hasn't made any cards. It literally says
artist in your own right. Yes,
that's what in the article.
That's literally what it says. Bringing the art of flesh and blood to life like a true illusionist. He will be competing, but he also does prop shop. So he has Dawnblade, Ramparts, Ram's Head, and Anathos.
I've seen this.
Oh,
yes, he makes he makes the yep.
Oh,
I'd like one of those at some point. Like a band blade would be kind of cool just to have.
That's cool.
There you go.
Rampart would be sweet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Valera will be there as a guest cosplayer. She's done Era at Krakow this year, so she's one of the premier cosplayers that will be there as well.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Miss Chalice, who has done Azalea, Levia, and Icelander.
Incredible.
She is probably the GOAT in my power rankings.
Carolina still has the first Taylor.
Chalice wasn't there.
I understand that it's like winning. It's the Rockets winning their titles in the 90s. Jordan wasn't there. Like I get it, but I honestly, seeing what Carolina puts together, seeing what a lot of these people put together, I think the competition's not easy enough to determine a GOAT yet. Personally,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Outside of Christine Sprankle,
like because Icelander shoes. So.
Yeah, Christine, I think, is still on beyond reproach when it comes to the quality of stuff that is done in cosplay because she's been doing it forever and she next levels the shit out of things. So I think that's kind of your unfair point, but
Chalice has the ability to have this be her career, right? So
I agree. Much like Christine does, much like Olivia does.
Right.
Sprankle and Gober Hicks for those people that don't follow the cosplay community too closely.
We'll also have Pleasant Kenobi and Abby. I'll just lump these two together. Pleasant Kenobi and Romaine Nicholas are Pleasant Kenobi is a content creator and streamer, very active on Twitter, very nice guy.
Mostly magic oriented.
Yes. So that'll be a good bridge actually that I'm excited about. And then Romaine Nicholas will be on the commentary team as well, so he'll be a fresh.
I'm interested by that.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see it. Then, Ab, back to you.
Oh, okay. And then on the commentary team, in addition to Romaine, we have Matt, aka Flake, Brian, and Tannen.
Brian will not be there.
Brian Gottlieb had COVID, right?
Yep.
Aw,
He picked
bummer.
up a case of COVID, and so he's not able to attend, which is not great, not ideal for anybody who get well. Brian, I doubt you listen to our show, but if you do, get well, Brian. Best wishes to you. I still think the content team or the commentary team is very well rounded with a lot of great voices. Obviously, we stand for Matt pretty hard on this show. He's a friend of ours, and I I think I honestly said that that we listened to Matt calling the finals of Calling Indy driving home, and it was the best commentary we'd heard of Flesh and Blood yet, and that kind of what turned me into a Matt DeMarco fan. And then from there, we just became friends. So it's not like I became friends and I'm standing for my friend because he's a friend. It's more along the lines of he does incredible work. He's best in class, and him and Steven and Tannen, that entire crew of people are incredible at what they do, and we're fortunate to have them. So as a community, we need to make sure we're embracing them because damn it, we got lucky. Is the best way to put it.
I'm really bummed that we won't get to hear Brian Gottlieb this weekend because his views on deck building and like general like card worth evaluation are so deep. Like he runs the Arena Decklist podcast with
Jerry,
Jerry Thompson for Magic, and Brian carries a lot of that deck building experience from Magic over. Or Brian brings a lot of that deck building experience from Magic over, and it's very good to hear that in a Fab context. Where
can we get Jerry in Flesh and Blood? Do you think?
I don't. That would be a Brian project, but I don't know.
I don't know that'll ever happen, but I'd love to have Jerry around. I've known him for a long time, so it'd be great.
Hearing those like excellent deck building pillars, because I agree. Brian says this, and it turned me onto it, and I think I agree with it. The deck building in Flesh and Blood is not close to solved or there's not a big macro overlook like there is for Magic.
There's no hard and fast rules, as is evident by the Calling Singapore 5th place deck list. Right. So no, there just isn't there isn't. You can watching a national semifinals competitor, U.S. national semifinal competitor, get blown out of a tournament by a fucking lunging press on a Herald of Erudition was quite possibly one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, because if the card reads deal 1 damage to your opponent, draw 2 cards, go again, you would just play it all the time, right?
Right.
But it's lunging press. So probably not. If lunging plus press blocked for 3, that would change the story, but it doesn't. So but I was quite amused at seeing that happen. That was one of those oh shit moments where you just kind of lean back and you almost scream World Star at the top of your lungs. But I refrained from doing that, as I probably would have been kicked out of the venue.
If you haven't seen or heard about it, Prism Gate happened last Sunday was when it was.
Yeah, it was right after we recorded, as per usual.
Yeah. Typical.
Do you want to run people through what happened?
So allegedly there was a person who won a Pro Quest, and their win was registered under Starvo, but they played Prism.
Correct. The dude fucked an ostrich. No, wait, that was a different thing. Never mind. So yes, it was. We have Zapruder film evidence as somebody took a picture of the finals match in progress, and it was a Prism mirror. And then additionally, so we don't know if the calculation was done incorrectly. We know that via the honor roll for people who helped the Living Legend Starbo out, that is one of the listings, is that win. We don't know if they did not get those points as they should have. What we do know is that it's currently listed incorrectly. Jordan, what do they do if it is?
Nothing, probably. At least right now, you don't touch the Pro Tour.
No.
Especially at this late. This was early last week. If they wanted to touch the Pro Tour, they could have Monday, but you're not touching. You're not. It would have been too early last week, I guess, is what I mean. and you're not touching it now. So if you want to touch it the 30th with the banner
Dude,
restriction
stop talking about
announcement,
touching it.
yeah, well,
The fuck?
I also don't know how else you're supposed to go to sleep at night.
Oh my
So,
god.
Jesus Christ. We are fap under, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you gotta touch the Prism like ban list before you
Okay.
get out of this.
You gotta make sure
No.
touch your Luminaris enough to go to sleep at night by making enough spectral shields. Okay, I get it.
I think
Tomorrow that
for
was
the
for
30th,
you.
Wow. I think at the 30th, you probably if they come to the idea that this was a tabulation error and this is real, 2-beer show.
High news today again.
Hey, those are good. Drank a couple of those myself yesterday.
Fantastic.
The 30th, you can LL her out and fix it and make it a non-issue for nationals.
That was mine.
Yep. Like I think we should fix it if it needs fixed. There's no sense in like, hey, once the list is published, the list is published.
But there's no sense in fucking people's prep.
Right. Completely agree. I think that's an easy fix.
Just say tomorrow that, because they'll obviously come out with announcements probably later tonight, actually.
Yeah.
That they're saying, hey, we made a mistake. We've already done that with Dustblade. We understand what this is like. We know how to apologize. So we're going to go ahead and say, hey, sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and apply those points so that Prism is living legend, but we're going to allow her to be in the Pro Tour. So her living legend status will take effect on August 30th.
Yep.
I could see a world where they also say, hey, you know what? These were submitted months ago.
And Dumbfuck's finally figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're going to lock this in. We're not going to do this thing where we have somebody audit their stuff from like months ago to just like find errors in people's things. And like, while I agree errors should be corrected, there's also got to be a time when like we live with the result. Right. So I could also see that. I don't know if we're there because there's a BNR on the 30th and it's a very clean way to do it. But I could also see a world where they go, hey, you know what? We posted the Bravo Living Legends thing a while ago. Now this person could have emailed them back then too. I don't know.
They said they did.
Okay. I saw that they did email them. I didn't know when they emailed them.
Fairly quickly after, from what it looked like.
Back when the PQs were going on. Okay. Well, with that in mind,
it wouldn't have been LL'd out yet.
Right.
At that point.
Okay.
So it wasn't until after the last ProQuest last RTN season that it would have LL'd out.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So with that in mind, I think if the issue's been raised, we should fix it. But if it's like, hey, this happened 3 months ago and you didn't care then, maybe you didn't think to look because why would you look? But like at the same time, like there has to be I guess my point is there has to be a definitive point in time where we say this is just the way it is, and this has to move on. So
I feel like with this particular issue that one, they're absolutely saved by Prism winning the Pro Tour. Two, they've already announced a very clean point in time to say, okay, we made a mistake, so we're just going to LLR out now. It's 998, man. Like, it's right fucking there.
I almost disagree a little bit just because like 998 is not 1,000. So like
I
love chaos.
Have a dumb question.
Yeah, what's up?
Do the stores have to like input that?
Yes, I can do this. Because I run armories for one of the LGSs. So what happens is there's a button that says assign hero. Mm-hmm. And when you click that button, you then literally assign a hero. This is where you have mistakes made where you see like, Bravo instead of Bravo Showstopper being picked, for CC. Normally they'll catch it, but it's just a menu. It's just assign a hero. So if they clicked and just assigned the wrong hero, that's it. They would never check it beyond that. Because if they're doing deck checks, they're actually literally comparing against a deck list, right? If they're doing anything else, they would just submit the tournament, and then the tournament submission goes to. It's just literally a button at the end of it that just says submit tournament, and then it says these results cannot be changed. Are you sure? And then, like any other thing in the world, when somebody asks you if you're sure, you just click yes without ever reading, and so that's how that would happen. Like they would just hit submit, hit yes, and have assigned the incorrect hero and never re-reviewed it. That is 100% possible, 100% very easy to do.
Which is why I honestly think that there's some world where people are saying maybe it was a error and like on the sheet like that posted the winners but not a tabulation error, I don't think that world can exist. I
No,
don't
it
think the
doesn't.
same system
No,
that like takes all that in, then gets bifurcated. I don't think that's
no.
possible.
I believe that the intake system is exactly what the intake system is.
Yeah, it does both
And
the LL points and the
yes,
points in real
correct.
time. Yeah.
So the LGS made a mistake when they were selecting the hero for the person that eventually won the tournament. That is the most likely scenario for this, is that they just literally made a mistake and and then they get caught right away. And then it was like, well, whatever, Prism's not that close anyway. And then 998 happened and it's like, shit,
We should fix this. Yeah.
that matters now. Fuck.
Given that there's a confirmation box at the end of the tournament report button, makes me also think they could just say, hey, you certified these, like we're just gonna move forward, and like, hey, word to the wise, be more careful next time.
Okay,
I don't know if I like that as a solution, but
No, but serious question, Logan. If you get an "Are you sure" box, you do not look at the information.
yeah, wait.
No, I do, because
okay.
I worked in IT long enough that I 100% do.
Because I do on literally everything.
Most people do not. They just click yes. Having lived in the IT world long enough, and it's like, but you clicked yes on the "Are you sure" box. Well, of course I did, but you weren't sure.
Sure, yeah.
And they're just like, but yeah, but that's just a formality. It's like, no, it's a box to ask you, are you fucking sure?
Yeah, I didn't put it in there for your health, man. Like,
so I've had a lot of very difficult conversations ranging from, okay, what the fuck were you on, to, okay, it seems like we have an oversight error, because one of them is when in one of these situations somebody is a peer, in the other situation it's somebody that gets paid a lot more than me. That has no longer, for anybody that's listening, that no longer exists. I say the exact same thing to the exact same person regardless of title. So now it's just simply, what the fuck were you thinking? Or what the fuck were you on? One of the two. And if they say, I wasn't on anything, and then I say, okay, that is denial. It's admission by denial, and now I need to know who your dealer is, because clearly you got the good shit. And that really makes me desire to know who you're buying from. So, yes, the confirmation box shows up and most people just bypass it. That is exactly what happens.
Interesting.
Logistics people don't, because they understand that them making one small error can fuck up everything on the downstream, and so they just don't make those mistakes. I've learned that.
Yeah, I am always like, oh, did I put everything in wrong?
You're a logistics person, so yes, you just sit there because you realize that the downstream effects are going to fuck any number of people. Yeah. Instead of just fucking me, which is mostly what people do, sadly, and not in a pleasant way, like in a very unpleasant way.
Any more words on Prism Gate?
Like a 3-knuckler. Oh, Prism Gate, right. No, nothing else.
Okay. Jordan?
No.
Okay. September Armory Kit is out. Not out.
What's September?
September? Armory?
You said September.
No,
you did say September
Armory.
No, you sure didn't.
Can you play
Dear listener, hit the 15-second rewind button and find out for yourself.
Okay.
September sounds more pleasant.
Dear listener, if any of you want to host this podcast, we will be taking applications.
There's a guy that emailed us that I think really would like to.
Oh, fuck me, please don't.
All right. So the kit will have 4 cold foil Waning Moon, 32 rainbow foil Ice Eternal, an Ice Eternal playmat, an Uprising playmat, and then the posters.
An Uprising playmat again, really?
Yes.
The Uprising playmat? Yeah.
It's a rebuy. Okay.
I don't mind if they're going to make the People's Champion playmat like the set playmat. That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan, do you need a Storm of Sandikai cold foil? Because now I have 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring one.
Thanks. Can you bring my holiday baubles too? What else do you have for me? I feel like there's like a list of things.
I have your holiday baubles, Abby's hat, now a Storm of Sandikai.
There's
something else.
What is it?
My cold foil ash token.
Cold foil ash token and your playmats.
Playmats,
God,
yes,
so
yes,
okay.
yes. Okay, cool.
Those have shipped.
Sweet.
Love it.
I still don't know how much you owe me because they haven't invoiced me yet.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's nothing. It's free.
No,
that
that is not how we operate.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so SCG Con is in 2 weeks, and they added an event on Saturday. I think they listened to us complain for about a month straight.
A little bit, yeah, maybe a month.
This event did feel like an add-on. Like, shit, there really is no Flesh and Blood on Saturday. We need to do
They
something.
fucking hate us now. Like, these Flesh and Pod people are just up our asses sideways, which we are.
That's right. But we get things done. So on Saturday, there is a, what did they call it?
LCQ, Last Chance Qualifier.
For an entry to Nats.
Yeah.
4 entries still.
Yeah, 4 entries.
It's a big road to national, basically.
No, all RTNs were top 4.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just a higher profile, like more people.
Is it though?
Yeah, I don't know what that's a great question, is how many people will actually come.
Because I'm tempted to go and play in this event just to block for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how big this will be. I am curious about if you play against the person, they're like, yeah, I'm already keyed for Nats. Is it rude to just be like, can you concede? Like,
no, that's not.
Like, I don't know.
Like if I was playing against somebody, like, I'd obviously play at a top 8. And if I was in the event and somebody said, and I end up in the top 8, and I would ask my opponent straight up, are you qualified for nationals? And if they said no, I'd be like, congrats.
Yeah, like I could see.
And I would walk away. Yeah. Like that's just because there's no sense in me dream crushing. Like at that point,
right?
It does nothing for me.
That's a bit of a hot topic issue in the community at the moment, which I find very interesting. It's from Magic background. It was almost inappropriate to not scoop when you could for people. There were people that I wouldn't scoop to, and in situations I wouldn't scoop. Like if you're blocking for somebody, but like a random guy you're playing and like, you know, a GP, and he's like, hey, if I win, I need points to get silver. And it's like, oh, then easily like, concede.
Mm-hmm.
Like
snap concede.
And you don't even expect anything back. It's just like,
snap
you need
concede.
points. I don't. Let's move it along, you know? It's a little trickier with ELO in this game.
Yeah,
ELO doesn't actually matter right now, so it's not even tricky. Like if they came out with something and was like, hey, ELO matters, then all of a sudden you're like, well, am I going to play enough events for ELO to matter? Does the XP matter? But not really. It's just like, oh, you are not qualified for this tournament that we're all trying to play. Easy, done.
Yeah. So for my purposes, it would be more of a if you think about how these things work, it's I don't call it polite, but at the same time, it's like, what are we playing for here? All I would say to my opponent is just like straight up, you know, in top 8, it's like, are you qualified? Yes. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Then we're playing.
Are you not? Yeah, because you know we're playing for ticks or whatever now. Are you not qualified? No. Congrats, you're qualified. Because I'm really playing for nothing at that point. Now there are other people who are grinding for value, and I understand that, and I'm not mad about you grinding for value. I'm not going to slap your hand for wanting that cold foil Icelander or whatever. No, totally cool. And I understand that. So if I was in the same position and somebody was like, I can just hand you a cold foil Icelander, I'd be like, sure, I guess. I literally don't care. But what blocking is, for those who are unfamiliar, is you play in a tournament and your end goal is to get to the point in the tournament where there's a crux and you're playing against the person that you're blocking for so that you can concede to that person so they move on. This is a very old school Magic thing, because in PTQ years where Pro Tour qualifiers, where the first place qualified for the Pro Tour, if you were already qualified, you could keep playing in the PTQs, but you couldn't ever get a second qualification. PTIs did not exist in Magic. Transferable Pro Tour invites. So what you would do is you'd go in with like, okay, well, I want to travel with this person. So I'm going to go into this tournament and just play to the point that we play against each other and then concede. And that was strategic. It was done on purpose. That'd be the same story here. Like if Jordan and I were in the tournament and I was playing, which I don't know that I will. I don't know Jordan will. And it was like, I want Jordan to be qualified for nationals. It would be okay. So I'm going to play until I play against Jordan, and then when I play against Jordan, I'm just going to concede. That's what blocking is.
Yeah. Very, very different than what we have in Flesh and Blood right now, just because it's a young game, younger players, but very common, I think, from the era when we played Magic.
Very much so, yeah.
Yep. And then we have the Brawl coming in October 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd is day one of the 10K Classic Constructed Brawl with cosplay contests, side events, on-demand drafts, win a VIP Blitz, win a VIP Ultimate Pit Fight, cosplay contest. And then day two is, or Sunday is day two of the Brawl, and then a 2K Team Sealed.
Just be here.
Yeah, it's really hard to not talk about how awesome this event is.
Like, just come.
Just honestly,
skip SCG Con and come to this.
As okay, and I'm I love high level Flesh and Blood. I love playing this game in a competitive atmosphere. I love the ins and outs. I love the nuance. I love the engine. I love the community. I love Keith and Jacob Bartram. But all that's being said, if there was anything that was not Pro Tour related that you're going to show up to, it's this.
Yeah.
For so many reasons, a lot of them that can't be discussed, a lot of them that are just like ambiance that you can't understand unless you felt it. It's incredible. Everything that this group of people touches is absolute gold. And it feels like every time, regardless of size, regardless of scale, regardless of ideation, it feels like something special. It feels like you just did a thing and you were there. And almost Woodstock-like. And, not Woodstock 99, not that one. But the good ones. So 69 and 94. But it's something that you should really be aspiring to attend, because not only are you supporting good people doing fucking awesome things, you're also going to be part of the fucking awesome things that are being done. I've ordered a new hat for it and some cigars, and I'm really investing myself. Oh, and a thing that a device that goes on top to smoke cocktails inside of a glass.
Oh.
So I can make smoked cocktails. I'm going to be bringing that with me, because a smoked old fashioned is the closest you can get to understanding God. So please, if you're one of our fans, this is something that you cannot miss. We'll be there in all of our finery and glory. Right. And then a bunch of the people that we spend time extolling on this show: Mara from Blackwing Studios, Flake, Tommy Fresh, Carolina, Elaine Hammondtree, Carolina, who is also my favorite Twitter handle, Bitchy Valor, who won the first Taylor card. Van Sant, Ethan Van Sant will probably be there. I'm assuming. I'm just gonna put it as our thing, and I'll
just
pay
like
for it.
Flesh and Blood Twitter degens, man. Like,
it's all of us, and it's God. I love saying it's all of us. That feels so good to be part of this community. Please be there to be a part of this, because we would love to see you. We would love to talk to you. I'm very approachable. Jordan's more like a tomcat. Abby, if you don't, Abby's great if you don't say the wrong thing.
That's right.
So,
I'll bud once we're buds, but Logan is definitely the most approachable of the three of us.
It's probably true.
I still get I'm a nervous in public type of guy, but also like I'm a goofball and an idiot too. So like I'll come around quickly. Also, a couple of Jack and Coke cocktails in me later on.
Boy howdy. I don't know if we're going to get Popo Mike in there or not, but there is a Twitter user named Popo Mike that makes Flesh and Blood inspired cocktails. I'm really hoping that we get them there, because damn, are they sweet.
They look really good.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, please be at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Please do.
That's right. Be there, be square. I'm going to keep saying it. That's the thing. Yeah. Yep.
It's a triangle.
No, that's a triangle.
Logan's doing a triangle.
Nope.
Flip one
It's
of them.
open-ended.
Flip one of them.
Hey, we did
go.
it. That's a rectangle, though.
Guys, if you're not on video, like 90% of you aren't. That was an atrocity, and you should be glad you're not on video.
I've been drinking since like noon. Can you fucking give me a break?
No. No breaks.
All gas, no breaks.
That's right. All right, we have 4 listener questions this week. The first one is from Fighting Walloon.
Walloon haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There are 16,674 players who have earned at least 1 XP in the last 90 days. With that number as your starting point, what do you estimate the global player base for Fab to be right now?
A snap-off number? Am I first?
Yeah, it's snap-off number.
40,000.
I was going to say 35, so.
I was going to say 20.
Interesting.
That's
very low.
20 is really low. Like, I think there's a bunch of people that have never gained an experience at like an on-demand event or whatever that play the game.
I have no idea.
Well, so Ab, for reference, this number would include your brother Caleb and Caleb's girlfriend.
Amanda?
No. Amanda is
Almost got him.
Yeah, Amanda.
So close.
Amanda is brother-in-law's wife. It's my sister-in-law.
Hold on, but wouldn't my brother have gotten XP at the skirmish?
Yes.
Oh, you're right. So before then, sorry, it just includes Caleb's girlfriend. You're right. I forgot they did that, to be honest.
Right, but like 3 weeks ago, it would not have included them.
Right, and like, so Caleb's girlfriend is one of the people contemplated by this number. She plays. She's bought product. She does not have a lifetime experience point.
We had 4 players during skirmish and draft armory that were sitting at tables and just playing games that had never signed up for a gem ID, had never entered an event. That's middle of nowhere, Iowa. They were brought in by a friend of the show, friend of us all, friend of humanity, honestly, John Patty.
John Patty. Yeah.
Oh,
People's
fucking
champion,
Patty. People's champion. My God, that man is. I unironically kiss that man on the cheek and hope he gives me tongue. But point being, no, that he turns and this, never mind.
I don't need to hear your John Patty fanfic.
It's quite extensive. Right he turns into a werewolf eventually. Never mind. At any rate, so with that, so that's the middle of nowhere, Iowa, right? Those are 4 people in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, that would never have touched this game otherwise and have never signed up. So that number has to be higher in other places, right? Like, that's my thought process. Like, we do have a good community here. I'm not saying we don't. We have a fucking fantastic community here, honestly. But I also feel that like other places have a bigger community of people who are dipping a toe. That's why I went 40. I thought that like a little under 50% was my guess.
Yeah, I do think that this will still be a small game for the rest of its life if it sticks to this LGS only model, which is fine. That's completely okay. I'm happy with it. I actually think the community is at a good size. I'd like to see growth, obviously, but I don't know if I want to be Magic. I don't know if like I want to be a part of a community like that again.
It's hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work. Like I think about the podcast in that type of world, and don't know if I love that. Like I don't know. I mean, like the Patreon part would be cool, I guess, but like everything else would be like
raking more money would be fantastic, I guess.
Yeah, like it would be a positive.
That's not
project,
what we do this for. Like,
right.
We were shamed into opening a Patreon. Like we were literally shamed into doing that because people are like, "Well, what are you doing for your Patreon?" It's like, "What fucking Patreon?"
So I guess like I don't know if I want to be a part of a community like that is as toxic as Magic can be. So like. I like the size. I hope they don't go to big box store, but I could also see the allure of that money wise for them. So it's just one of those things. I think
things we've learned today that Jordan's not a size queen.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Abby's fucking mortified. No, I totally agree with you. I would rather keep this like somewhat insular. Not insular is the wrong word. It's more
way.
No, it's more along the lines of we want the people that want to be here, right? Like that's the biggest thing.
Yep.
Not the people that are just here to show up, complain, and then leave. That's not the community we want. We want the community that is insular, that helps pick people up, make them aware of their faults, and help them improve. Whether that be from a community aspect, a gameplay aspect, whatever it is.
Well, that and it's easier to support a company like LSS than it is Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro.
By far.
So, like, I would just rather give my money to, like, the $1 million company as opposed to the $1 billion company.
But the problem is that, like, Hasbro makes these things, which are sweet fucking Transformers, and so that just wrecks me. And all these two, which are Marvel Legends.
Oh, dude, I'm buying Doctor Who themed Magic cards. Like,
I get fucking blasted because there's, like, the cool shit. Hasbro at some point in time figured out what all the cool shit was and bought it.
Yep. They're the Disney of toys. You know?
Yep. That's actually, wow, I never even thought of that. That's actually the most true thing anybody's ever said about that entire arena of things. Jesus, Jordan, you're a fucking legend.
I've been saying it for years. But I'm a legend, not the Disney's.
Shit.
Let's go. We're going to be here till tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, 4 a.m.
Ridiculous. All right, question number 2 is from Keith. If you were relocating you and your immediate family to Rathe, which realm would you choose to settle in, and what would your occupation be?
What are the realms?
There is. Oh, if you ever looked at the goddamn show notes,
I told you I wasn't.
I want to post it in the chat of the Zencaster.
It has a breakdown of the realms, and then it literally has like.
Fantastic. Let me do some good radio here.
Yeah. Well, I can go first.
It has crafts. Yeah. Go ahead.
I liked Mysteria a lot. Mysteria. It is like a treetop or mountaintoppy type of community. It reminds me of like Mists of Pandaria for any of our World of Warcraft people out there. And kind of like the Eastern Asian monastery on the hilltop type of vibe. I think I would like that. And what job would I have? Probably in something in research, like a librarian or like just like a scribe or some type of like research entity. Probably. I'd be involved in that.
This is quite easy.
Logan is, go ahead,
honestly, the quickest thing I've ever done. I'd be in the monastery.
Okay.
As a bartender.
Oh yeah. All right.
Just like using some arcane shit to whip up some dope cocktails. I figure that's got to be an old fashioned crew, right? Like they're just wanting Manhattans and old fashions like nobody's business. Some good rye, some Sazerac, smoke some cocktails. Like let's do some shit here. Maybe a couple gins, maybe a French 75 here and there. A little bit of fanciness. I think that would be a great idea. I could actually get my mustache twirly, and it would fit in a little bit. Not as well as the person in the card combustible courier. That man's mustache is beyond reproach.
So if you had a mustache like that, would you fit better into Metrix?
Metrix? I don't think so.
Well, that is like literally the mechanologist world.
He's
right?
literally so that's steampunk. And while I do enjoy some steampunk, I don't know that I would have a job in steampunk land.
Gotcha.
If I could just pick a place to live with 0 job qualifications and not have to care, I would totally live in steampunk land. I'd walk around with a fucking mechanized pipe that smoked only the finest of tobaccos and use really shitty terminology to determine to talk about how steam powered everything, and then call myself some sort of expert and call it good. But if I had to work in that shit, no, not so much.
Ab, where are you living?
There you go. I would live in Aria. It gives me massive Animal Kingdom vibes. So like Corsham would be like the Tree of Life. And I would be a dreamer, which is a dreamer is a person with a natural born gift, the waking sleep, a state in which dreamers can glimpse fragments of the past, present, and future. For some, visions can even come to them when fully awake, catching glimpses of what might be and echoes of those who came before.
Wasn't that Ysera from WoW?
Yeah. So you're going to be like the chick. Also reminds me of the person from like the Spartans movie that like just like they get like the chick at the very beginning and just gets really high all the time and like gives prophecies.
That's literally every girl I know that gets high all the time.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They talk to you about like the moon and how it impacts
right.
the moon and shit. Yeah.
I don't understand.
I just got back from a Wook festival, man. I am immersed in it lately.
Yeah, distinct without a difference, Jordan. Figure it out.
All right.
That's a fun question.
Question number 3 is from May via the Patreon. If Fab were to do something similar to Magic the Gathering's Universe Beyond, crossover sets such as Fortnite, Warhammer, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, so on, what fictional universe would you like to see? What cards would you like to see redone to fit into that universe? And it says no poison counters allowed. And let me tell you, I'm getting real tired of this.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Get fucking done.
Get dunked on.
So, get good, Abby.
Well, you know what's funny?
First off, I didn't even have to read that. So let's just be clear.
That's true. You could have refused.
So for people that don't know what we're talking about, the universes beyond, like Abby read a little bit, is they take like a universe that like Hasbro also owns the rights to, or like license for the purpose of this.
Not, yeah,
and like make cards based on that. So they'll make like Walking Dead cards, and they're legal in certain formats, or Stranger Thing cards, and
like they did a giant Street Fighter license recently. So there are Street Fighter Magic cards and Street Fighter Transformers.
Yep. And so there are very cool cards. They're not really well loved by the Magic playing community at large, but they're also not for the competitive card player. Like that's not their target market. So I'm not in that game anymore. I don't really know. I don't have my finger on the pulse, but if that happened, I would have said Doctor Who. When we got this question, I was like Doctor Who, but they just announced it for Magic.
They just announced it.
like literally like Tuesday, they had their like next 3 years plan, and Doctor Who is one of the
list.
things.
Yep.
So, and while I don't like the products from like what it means for competitive Magic, I am going to buy all of these cards, like the collector packs and all that stuff. So I'm going to keep my answer of Doctor Who. What cards would I like to see done or redone to fit the universe? There are cards like that mention undoing time, like Rewind. Maybe slap like a TARDIS on there or something.
But what about the fixed points?
Yeah, listen, man, Doctor Who's great, but it does take all of the theories of time travel.
It's really bad.
It is like we're not going to keep track of any of them. It's all time.
It is elementary school Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I will not change my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's one of the best television shows of all time, in my opinion.
Not even true.
But like, I think it's a top 10 of all time. And oh wow, we don't have time for this. But like, I do agree with you that sometimes the theories of time travel overlap in so many different ways, and maybe that's the case. Is like that they're all true. That could very well be the possibility, right? Like in an infinitely expandable universe with time travel, there's no way that we're right about any of the different ways of time travel. But like, anyway, I digress. Doctor Who's my answer. Logan, you're up.
I really hope that they have a card that is just Coalition Victory, and it's just called MacGuffin, because that's literally all that Doctor Who is. Solve every problem with a MacGuffin.
I'm going to interject here for a second. Doctor Who is not top 10 on IMDb for all-time TV shows.
Oh, God.
Suck it, nerd. For me, it's just, I mean, I hate the fact that this is so simplistic, but honestly, I kept running back to it. It's just Game of Thrones. It's already ready built.
Sure.
Dromai is just literally fucking Daenerys, and you have dragons everywhere. Dracona or Tromeltai is Baerler and the Black Dread. Like you can just do this all fucking day. So Game of Thrones just fits so neatly, and like a lot of the cool shit that I really like just doesn't in a lot of ways. So it's really harder for me to apply things that I like that haven't already been applied. So like, because I love Street Fighter, as you know, that's an easy one. And WotC has done a good job. Like fucking Lightning Bolt is Hadouken. Like it's so simplistic and still giant mark. Like so hard. It just marks me out to the fucking biggest degree. And I thank Christ every day that I don't require I don't play that game anymore, because otherwise my money would just be incinerated by stuff like that. Although the Transformer hobby does incinerate my money pretty hard too. But yeah, it would just be Game of Thrones. I think that the dragon motif works really well with what's going on in Flesh and Blood, and I think it's easily transferable.
Abby?
I think everybody is going to be really surprised by what I say, but it would be Disney. I would like a heroes and villains set.
Okay, so who is your Maleficent?
Who is my No, it would be like Maleficent. Like I would build a whole character for her. Like
So you're not adapting existing cards. You're building an entire new universe.
Yes, I would bring the universe in.
Okay.
Oh,
Not
okay.
mad.
Sure. What does your Maleficent hero do?
I don't know. I didn't think that hard.
Try.
You could have said
just
poison
saw the
counters, dude. What the
question.
fuck?
And was like, listen, I can't ever speak about poison counters again. So
Maleficent. Every turn, 3. Give your opponent give your opponent and you a poison counter.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
Weird. I couldn't hear any of that. It started going in and out when you were saying certain words. It's crazy. All right.
I'm trying to fucking help you, and I'm just getting slammed by it. Like, all right, fine, whatever.
It's
Don't
fine.
care.
I've gotten yelled at like 4 weeks in a row.
You're lucky I love you.
Question number 4 is from Salty Sea Cat. If there was a fab-themed bar, what would you drink?
Oof.
They said they were going to drink Dromai tea, which
no,
as an American tea is a joke that the rest of the
Dromai
world...
tie.
It's a Dromai tie.
It's a Dromai tie.
Good lord.
Oh, I can't read.
We've met.
Oh.
You picked up some Dagon.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke that, like I said, I just got back from a walk festival, so I'm closer to Dagon than I was last time.
Facts. Big facts.
So I thought it's a Dromai tea, and I was going to say that I thought this was... tea is a joke that the rest of the world plays in America. Like very...
I love tea. Fuck you.
What show is that, Abby? The soccer coach is American.
Oh,
Ted
Lasso.
He goes over there and they're like, "Hey, would you like some tea?" And he goes, no, thank you. That's not. You guys don't actually like that. You do that to play a prank on us." And it's so funny. Like sweet tea is dope. I love a good glass of sweet tea.
A good chai, like a good masala chai, is incredible.
You're lying. You don't believe that.
I literally, I can pull out a fucking drawer full of it right now because masala chai is the nuts.
People buy red wine and they don't actually like that shit.
There's a tea kettle right there on the desk for me to fucking heat tea at my desk. You dumb fuck.
You're a performance of you. Wow. Fucking got him, boys. He's so good.
Fucking ice pick coming to your fucking kidneys next time I see you.
Okay. No, so what would you guys drink? We got very off there.
If it's got to be a pun.
It doesn't have to be a pun.
Well, this one's a pun.
I don't care what this is a pun.
There were a bunch of puns in the Discord, and I don't want to steal one of them.
I'm not a pun person.
I think puns are good. When I'm in a punny mood, I can go deep. But like, I don't know. I don't have a pun. I tried to do a pun right there. I couldn't think of one.
I'm going to be drinking a Red Rake the Embers, which is going to be a smoked rye cocktail. So the smoke comes out looking exactly like the Rake the Embers are, which to me, and I want to be really clear here, the art on Rake the Embers to me looks like hair. It doesn't look like smoke. It looks like hair.
Hold on a minute. I pull it up.
Now, I understand, and I didn't really think that until I saw the playmat size, and I'm like, that's hair.
Oh, it does look like hair. There's a head.
That's hair.
It looks like there's a head.
That's just hair.
Weird.
So I don't really get it. However, the smoke coming off of my cocktail would give the impression of embers smoking.
You know what? Maybe I think of like Teclo. I just like pulled up FabDB.
Teclo Pounder? Oh, please get a pounder in there.
Pounder. Yeah. It's just like this mega shot.
Take you to Pound Town.
Or like a pedal to the metal is like a bear fight or something, you know? And it's just like, hey, you're blacking out right now. Yeah.
Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster that just gets converted to be a fucking Teclo Pounder, and we can just go to Pound Town.
I have spent this whole time thinking, and I still do not have an answer.
That's all right.
Abby's taking a shot of vodka and just calling it a fuck you.
Yeah.
There you go. That works for me.
She accepted.
I like vodka. I got 6 bottles of wine this weekend. I'm sure we could do something.
Why did you get 6 bottles of wine this weekend?
Because I was at a winery I liked.
Good reason.
I got 6. It's all the
honestly,
way in
it's about the
so.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's out. Like no notes. Good job.
I know that's all right now, so great.
Yeah, happy for your winery experience.
All right. Okay, let's move this along.
Reset, level set.
All right, so let's do our executive producer and Patreon. So we have May, Alexander, Philip, Taylor, Ed, Josh, Kenny, Nick, Ricky, Teague, Ben, Corey, Alan, and Michael.
And if anybody has any doubts about whether or not we seed or pick our Patreon packs in a way to disadvantage you, a Fabled was pulled out of one this week.
Which is
So
crazy.
it was awesome watching Kenny, because like Kenny just like peels the pack and he's like, "Oh, this sex dog shit. What's this?" And I'm like, "That's the Fabled, Kenny."
That's a Fabled.
And just like, "Oh, that's good." Like,
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
you got that one.
If you are interested in signing up to be a Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/flushandpod. We have 4 tier levels, so you can go there and take a look at those. As always, you can find us on Twitter at FlushPod. You can join our Discord. The link will be in the show notes. You can give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. You can shoot us an email at flushandpod@gmail.com. My personal Twitter is at AbbyD83. I don't know that I tweeted a whole lot this week.
We're fucking Abby up pretty hard right now.
Yeah, we're making hand signs in the video for people that can't see. We're just like,
remember
miming
when we
what she's doing.
started putting them on YouTube and we were like, oh no, we promise that the listening experience will be the same. And then
I
you
made
guys
no
do that
promises.
stuff.
No, I made no promises. Like I'm a very emotive person, so I'm going to make hand signs. I'm going to make gestures. I'm going to tell you to fuck yourself.
Like 99% of our listeners are on the podcast platform, so like 99% of people are just like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
They don't get turned off by it. They just kind of roll with it. And if they really they're really interested in it, they go to YouTube and we get the double listen.
There you go, double listen. I did buy 6 bottles. Well, I didn't buy, but I got 6 bottles of wine this weekend.
Wait, hold on.
I'm very excited.
How did you get 6? Them. That's where I'm at. Like, she's accused me of being a thief before, so I'm just wondering.
No, we stopped so this winery in Michigan is called St. Julian. My parents love it. And so we had went shopping up in Michigan. We were on our way back to where they live. And we were going to drive by one of the stores. So I said I wanted to go there. And then my mom and I both got 6 bottles of wine.
Where in Michigan is this?
Dundee, maybe?
Right across the border. Okay.
Yeah, it's not very.
That makes more sense now. I mean, sorry to turn this into a geography podcast, but
I want to say it's like here on the mitt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
There you go.
Okay. I was curious. Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Logan Peterson. You can find me on Discord. I'm very active talking to people and trying to make the best experience for everybody available. You can find me every now and again on the Instant Speed podcast because for some reason Flake keeps inviting me back on and I keep saying yes, which to be honest is more a Flake inviting me because I'll pretty much always say yes. It's like implied consent. You can also find me. That's about it. You can email us, I guess. I don't know. Like I'm very easy to find, but it's only a limited spots you can find me. Also at events. If you do see me at an event, most people don't recognize me for some reason, even though I'm very recognizable. But they also just listen. So they hear the voice. And when they hear the voice, they wind up coming over and saying, "Are you?" And it's like, yes. So what did I say to piss you off? So far, I'm 0 for like 7 on people that I pissed off, which feels great. I do want to make a special shout out today because this is a more heartfelt shout out. We had a community member named Rhodey Berg, who is a fun as fuck human. I think most people that have in the community met him. He's kind of disappeared for about a month and a half. We were all very worried, honestly. Like we were trying to figure out how to contact him. None of us had his phone number. We knew the apartment building he lived in. We didn't know his apartment building or apartment number. Then he showed up this weekend, and honestly, the community reaction was exactly what you'd expect. I stopped my match mid-match and said, "Excuse me, this is important." And I ran over and I hugged him and just picked him up because I love the dude. And that's the type of community we should be building, where we worry about each other. We want to see each other. And when we don't see each other for a long time, we are not scared to tell people that they belong, that they're loved, and that we want them around. So that is something that happened this weekend, and the entire community just rallied really fast and just was like, where the hell have you been? And he's going through a difficult time. And the immediacy of the community was, well, you were fucking missed, and we were really worried about you, and now we all need your phone number. So this never happens again, because to us, that was part of us. That isn't an external part of this community. That's somebody that's very important to the heart and soul of all of us. And so when you have those people, please tell them they matter. Tell them you love them. Tell them that they're important. Tell them anything you can to make sure that they understand their value in all of this, because it really fucking matters. The glow on his face when he saw all of us react that way was, it's a price that cannot be paid by money at any point in time. It's invaluable. And so I just want to make sure everybody understands that this is the part you play in the community that is vital, is to make sure that everybody knows they belong and knows that they're loved. And that's important. I know Jordan does a really good job of putting a little stinger at the end of the podcast, talking to people about how much they're valued and how much they're loved. This is me doing it in long form. So thank you for responding the way we did for our community. And please reach out to your community and let them know how much they're valued. Jordan?
Well, follow.
I fucked him hard.
You can find me on Twitter at I'm Jerman. And yeah, no, that's a good. The communities that we build in these matter. They're not just children's card games. They definitely matter.
16 plus on the package.
Oh yeah, angsty teenager card games.
Yeah, like Teague. Oh wait, never mind.
What?
I said that out loud.
Like Teague?
Yeah, I kind of. I don't know. Like I decided.
You made a joke in your head because the names are similar.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what are you saying about Teague? He's like an adult.
No, he's a total adult. He's an absolute adult.
He's older than me, and I think he might be older than you. I don't know.
I don't think he's older than me.
But anyway, Twitter at I'm Jerman, IMJRMAN. Tweeting sports and music and lots of stuff going on right now, so it's very fun. Flesh and Blood Pro Tour is happening, and it's going to coincide. One of the days is coinciding with a concert Abby and I are going to.
Coincide? You were close.
What did I say?
Coincide.
Oh, did I say? Oh, wow, really? Ew.
That's not even a fucking word.
No, it's not.
No, sure isn't.
With a Grizz concert, actually, for you fellow Wilks out there. So we're going to go check that out. But otherwise, it'll be all Flesh and Blood this weekend for me. Discord's also a great way to get a hold of me. I'm a little less active than I used to be, just because I don't.
That's a real job?
I don't sit at my personal station isn't my workstation anymore. I have separate rooms for that now. So it's just I'm busier during the day, but I still check my phone and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me.
How to say you're upper middle class without saying you're upper middle class is, I have a separate room for my podcast recording and a separate room for my office.
Yeah. That was a little weird. Well, to be fair, I am just in my basement, and Abby and I are double income, no kids. So
dinks.
We're dinkers, as it were. So,
hey Abby, if you need to know where your Flesh and Blood cards are, they're literally behind Jordan on a shelf. I can see them in frame.
Oh, it's weird. I still can't get in the basement because the door is for sure still on the hinges. It has not been taken off.
Oh my god! Anyway, the door off the hinges.
Perfect. No notes.
That is all that we have for this week. We love you. Say it back, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.